Hey, what's happening? Tim with Nomad Trading. Let's do a runner recap for today, the 5th of January. I'm going to look at the hottest stocks of the day. First, I will jump in and show my trades and what I did today. And then we'll talk about all the hottest stocks, what was moving and grooving today in the Momo low float day trader world. So, right here, looking at the scanner here, I was kind of in my own little world. I was in and out of the office again today, but did take several trades. So I'm kind of getting caught up on the ones that were moving that I wasn't looking at. I was kind of focused on BTBT myself. So there were several that I didn't even really look at. So I'm kind of looking at FinViz here, looking at the screener, seeing what was moving today. And make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit the like button, the thumbs up if you like what you see. Make sure you type, hey, what's up in the old chat, and let me know what you guys were trading today. And we'll discuss that. We'll discuss my trades. We'll discuss your trades, the stocks that were hot and moving. Anything you guys want to talk about, we will talk about it. So let me pull this off of here. And let's see here. We got Nafissa in the chat. What's up? Did you trade today? Big trades today. Making some money. We got 4 current viewers. We'll wait here for a second and see if we can get some more people in here. It was a little bit lighter yesterday. Didn't have very many people in the chat yesterday. So hopefully we can get a few more in there today. Looking at Cmeg, I brought my Cmeg platform over here onto my screen that I'm streaming, because that's where I was trading today. That's where I've been trading more lately. You guys have probably noticed that, but I've been using my E-Trade more for I love the charting on E-Trade, so I've been using that a lot. But I've actually been trading in Cmeg because I've been trying to perfect my short game. I've been doing a lot more shorting lately and trying to get better at that. I felt like I was kind of getting comfortable with buying breakouts and the bull pennant thing. So now I've been trying to focus on shorting a little bit more, making money on that. And that requires the Cmeg account because E-Trade is terrible when it comes to having shares to short. They just don't ever have the borrows of any of the low float stocks that I want to short. But Cmeg, however, does. They have borrows on almost every stock I want to short. I don't know if I've ever, maybe once or twice ever, had Cmeg not have the shares to borrow. So they're great for shorting, which is awesome. Thank you guys for hitting the likes, by the way. The people that hit the likes. Awesome. What's up, Dustin? So let's get into this. Let me get this out of the way. My trades for the day over here in the Cmeg account. You can see them right down here. So I ended up $158.42 up on the day. So basically made 160 bucks. We'll go through my trades. First of all, CHEK. This was one that was moving. It was moving yesterday as well, but then moving today. So let's see what I did, if I can try to remember what I was doing here. So yeah, I shorted it right here as it broke down below this low here. I shorted it and then ended up covering it on this green candle because I thought that I thought I was chasing it. I thought it was going to pop back up, so I just went ahead and got out of it quick. And yeah, made 30 bucks on it. But as far as other trades go, Let's zoom out just a little bit. This is the 5-minute chart right here. So yesterday you can see it made a big move, dipped down pre-market, and then popped up. I wish I would have been watching it up here, but I was not, unfortunately. So by the time I did see it, I was kind of chasing it. And I took the short position, and then I kind of zoomed out and saw that there was some support there and ended up just getting out of it because I didn't want it to bounce up on me and end up behind. So it was kind of just a mistrade, a bad trade, whatever you want to call it. I was kind of, I don't know, my mind wasn't in it, so I just got out of it. Ended up being a $30 winner, so that's good. But yeah, nothing exciting. Shouldn't even have taken the trade. Did not have a good plan, and ended up scaring myself out of it. As far as other trades that you could have taken on it, it would have been a decent bounce play here, and maybe that's what I did. No, maybe that's what I can't remember if I went long or short on this. These arrows are telling me what I did. Yeah, so I shorted it, I'm pretty sure. 205, 206. Yeah, that's what I did. I shorted it, and then I covered some and covered the rest of it. So yeah, $30 winner. But as far as good setups go, it could have been a bounce off of that support. That's the play that I should have been making. I should have waited down to this support right here and then bought it and tried to make a bounce play out of it. But I didn't. Other than that, it was pretty much just a short all day, so we won't spend too much time on that. NCTY. This one, let's see. This one was another one that I just mistimed. So it spiked up in the morning, came back down below VWAP, then it recovered, and I was watching it in here and it got very choppy, and I told myself, hey, after it consolidates and chops here, if it goes down, I'm going to go ahead and go short on it. And I thought with whatever the news was on it, I'm not really sure what it was without looking it up, but it didn't seem like it was anything amazing. So went short on that, set my stop just up here above that consolidation area, so that way if it ended up curling and running back up, I'd get stopped out. Oh, I'm getting this error from YouTube. Can anybody even see me? Are you guys able to see me? This thing's giving me that error that it loves to give. Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Can anybody see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, you can see me. Okay, awesome. I don't know why it's giving me that error. Anyway, so it was consolidating. It came back up through VWAP. It was consolidating. I had somewhat of a trend line on my E-Trade drawn right here. So it was kind of breaking that uptrend, and then it was also consolidating and having some trouble in this area. So I went ahead, as soon as it got this red candle here and started to break down, I took a short position on the very first, I don't want to chase it. So the first 5-minute candle to kind of bounce up and not break back up into the consolidation range was the spot to get short. Was planning on holding that, put my stop loss just above the consolidation area. That's this blue arrow, and I got stopped out for a loss. So I think I had 500 shares, I want to say. It's not showing me because of one's hidden behind the other for whatever reason. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was 500 shares that I shorted there, and then it ended up coming up and stopping me out. Then, of course, it did go on to fade the rest of the day, so it would have been a decent winner up here, shorting it at around $9, and it ended up down here at $8.26, and I had 500 shares, I believe. Maybe 250, maybe 500. I'd have to look back to see. But anyway, would have been a decent winner. Would have ended up being either a $200 win or a $300 or $400 win or whatever. But of course, it got stopped out. It shot up just long enough to stop me out, consolidated just a little bit higher, and at that point, I got stopped out, and that's when I left for the day. So then I came back. I had to run some errands, and I came back and focused in on BTBT. So this is BTBT. I went short on it. I was thinking short on this the whole time, I believe. Yeah. So as you can see, there's a bunch of, it had kind of gone up several days in a row. This is the daily chart down here. So we had several days, green days of it being up. And then today was the day that was kind of pulling back. So I was thinking short on that. As it got up into this area where it was coming close to the highs over here from after hours, I thought that was a good spot to go short. If we zoom in, let's see what happened here. 3002. Can't remember what I was doing here. Let me look at my trades over here. I don't want to tell you wrong. It's hard to remember what you're doing at the end of the day, or at least for me anyway. So yeah, I went. I bought. That's what I did. Okay, so now I see what I was doing. I bought it. I bought it on the dip, was thinking long, got out of it when it looked like it wasn't going to break out. It was looking a little more choppy than I thought. And then I switched my bias to short and then went short on it. Why are these arrows not making sense? Sorry, I got to look at my executions over here and try to figure out what I was actually doing because I forgot. I've been focused on other things and now I'm coming back in and trying to remember exactly what I was doing. Let's see, 250. Yeah, so I took 250 shares short at 30.25. So that would be right there. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. So right here, I bought it thinking long and then ended up cutting it because it wasn't doing what I thought on the 1 minute chart. So I just got out of it. Then I switched to short bias because it was coming up on that resistance and it was looking a little choppy up there in the highs. So I went short 250 shares at 30.25 and then covered a little bit right here at $30 even because I thought it might bounce off that $30 mark. So I got out and I wanted to also get my position size smaller because I was a little bit worried that it was consolidating so much there that I thought there was a chance it might end up spiking and breaking out. So I just took some off because it was in profit and I just wanted to minimize my risk. I thought I was in a little bit too deep for, the stock's a little higher price, so it can easily move $1. And I didn't want to be taking a $250 loss. So I took some size off at that point, 150 shares of it I covered at 30. So 25 cents a share, 150 share win. Then held the rest into this beautiful dump right here and covered it at 28.73. And right after I covered that, it started to pop up, and I thought, hey, that's going to be a decent little bounce. Thought about going short again there, but I did not. And then, of course, it faded down. So kind of wish I would have held that a little longer. Could have been a lot nicer winner, but that's how it goes. I thought that it might end up bouncing off that area and curling back up, but it didn't. This is why I don't like, I have a hard time. I chart pretty much on E-Trade. So then I trade on Cmeg, but I'm actually charting and watching the stock on E-Trade because I'm just used to those charts and that level 2, and I feel way more comfortable with that. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to jump over here and explain what I'm doing because I wasn't watching these charts when I was making all my moves. I'm watching my E-Trade charts, and that's where I use my trend lines and where I have my stuff is over there. But I thought it was worth kind of looking at, where the arrows are. It kind of shows where my entries and exits were and what I was thinking. But Turns out that it's actually kind of hard to explain when you've been looking at other charts and then you switch back to this chart. So, yeah, kind of losing track of where I'm at. But anyway, the point is, ended up making $200 basically on BTBT, $30 on CHEK, but I had almost $70 loser on that NCTY. So ended up 158.42 in the green. My goal is $100 a day, as you guys know, so I'll take that for sure over my $100 a day goal. Well, let's jump over here into E-Trade where I actually, this is where I do my charting. So we'll look at the other stocks over here. So yeah, up here was where I was thinking long. Let's see, let me switch to crosshairs. Yeah, so I was thinking long in, it kind of broke out, and then it was somewhere in here that I was thinking long. Yeah, right in here, I believe. And then it ended up having a big red candle and pulling back, getting choppy, so I just got out. And that's after that I watched this move here, and then as it pulled back big right there, that's when I started thinking short, and thinking that, most likely this is going to fade, which it did, and it was beautiful. And I shorted up here at 30.25, which was right in here, and then covered it in this washout down here at 28.70, I believe, somewhere in here. So perfect short and washout, worked great, and we did have this consolidation and what could have ended up being support there, so that's why I went ahead and covered and got out. I should have, in hindsight, re-shorted it as it tested this downward trend line and then kept going, and it would have been another nice short, but did not do that. As far as the long side, it made somewhat of a cup and handle here, kind of a cup, and then it formed its handle and then ripped out. So you could have had a pretty decent long setup right here as it curled back up and broke past this double top. That would have been a good spot to go long. Anyway, that's enough time on BTBT. It's a little bit higher price stock and probably not one of the stocks that most of you all were watching today anyway. BNGO finally had a bit of a crack in its armor and came down today. I thought yesterday, I don't know if I talked about it in the live chat or not, but I expected that it would probably pull back down into the fours today, and it did. It was a beautiful washout all the way down here to 426 or so. So that would have been a good short. I was thinking short last night, but as everybody who watches this knows, I don't like to hold overnight, especially short. So wasn't going to do that. But anyway, it worked out nicely. Then we had, let's see, the overall market is always worth looking at. So yesterday was a big red day in the SPY, the S&P. And then today we ended up having a decent green day and starting to recover some of yesterday's losses. CHEK was moving today. We already talked about that. That was one that we talked about on Cmeg. So hot stocks of the day, let's see, SYN I believe was moving 357 million shares. So that was a lower priced one, continuation from yesterday. As we can see yesterday, this thing was down under 40 cents, climbed all the way today to a high of, what was it, 164, 170, high of 170. So $1.30 up from yesterday where it started. That's a pretty awesome move, and it pretty much just followed the trend up. So you could have gotten short or gotten long in any of the pullbacks, and it would have worked out nicely. Then it ended up selling back below VWAP at that point. Had I been paying close attention to it, I would have been thinking short in this area because we had, let me zoom in just a little bit. We had this area of possible resistance, and after we've sold off all the way down below VWAP and below the 50 moving average, as it pops back up, this would have been a good spot to go short because of the fact that we had a little bit of resistance and because it sold off so much more than anticipated. So at that point, it's more of a short than it is a long because the pullback was so big. Would have been a nice short. Did not do that, but it would have been great. Let's see what else. What's your thoughts on SPY tomorrow? We will check it out. Today, does anyone know what actually happened today with the Georgia runoff? I'll type all this in the chat here. What's been going on with the Georgia runoff? I have not watched it all day. I was trading, then I was in and out of my office, so I have paid no attention to the news. I have no idea what's going on with that, and I think that will probably be a big factor in what happens with the markets. I don't really know what will happen, what that's going to mean, because it could mean either way. So you could argue that the markets liked the way things were with Republicans holding the Senate and Democrats holding the House, that balance, because markets climbed during that entire period. So will that be good if Republicans maintain control, or if Democrats take over the Senate? Will the markets like that because of the possibility of larger stimulus checks? I would say it's virtually a certainty that if Democrats gain control of the Senate, that there will be larger stimulus checks. Markets really do love the stimulus checks. So I don't know what it will mean either way, depending on how that turns out. Let's see. As far as the chart goes, like on SPY, looks like we would have, quite a bit of consolidation here. And then, like today, we had a green day, but it hasn't really made it quite to that. I guess it kind of bounced off that consolidation area a little bit, kind of bounced off this previous high. So I think it's going to largely depend on how the elections pan out with the Georgia runoff, and then how markets react. And I honestly have no idea. I don't know what to think about that, because I think there's a lot of different logics that you could argue depending on who gains or regains or stays in control of the Senate. Let's see. So we had a big sell-off yesterday. We remember that. And then since then, it's pretty much been a pretty steady climb. I don't know. We're kind of above VWAP. We're right just below the 50 and the 200. So as far as SPY goes, I don't know. It's pretty speculative at this point because of the Georgia runoffs and what that's going to mean. I have no idea what markets are going to react like. Usually I got an opinion on what I think is going to happen. But at this point, I have no idea. You could make an argument for gains or an argument for sell-off. I don't know. Not sure yet. Let's read what we got over here in the comments. Hearing Trump's putting the pressure on Pence to overturn the election tomorrow. Okay, that'll be interesting. What about from a TA standpoint on SPY? All depends on how the MMs want to spin it. Yes, very true, very true. Again, with the whole Trump and the election thing, I don't know how markets are going to react to that either, because again, markets love the stimulus, and like I said, it's virtually a certainty that if Dems control Senate and Biden is the president, there will be larger stimulus checks. I would bet all of my money on it. So markets do love that. And on the other hand, markets have really enjoyed Trump being president because they've gained for a long time, the whole time he's been in office, and even after the pandemic, with him in office, we had this gigantic comeback. I mean, in my opinion, a V-shaped recovery under his watch that led to all-time highs, and here we are still up here near all-time highs. So the markets obviously like the things like Trump was president, Senate controlled by Republican, House controlled by Democrats. Markets obviously love that because we hit all-time highs, recovered the pandemic gigantic pullback, and then continue to hit all-time highs. So I don't know what to make of that either. If Trump did somehow pull that off, would markets like that, or would they feel like there's more uncertainty because of the turmoil that'll be happening in the country? If Biden continues to hold the presidency and is inaugurated, will they like that because of the stimulus checks? I don't know. You really could make a case no matter what. I would say from a technical standpoint, we're still in somewhat of a consolidation phase just below all-time highs. So would I be buying it right now? No. I would be very scared of what is to come because I have no idea if it's going to rocket up or start tanking. I feel like there's a pretty good chance that it's going to go one way or the other. I don't think it's going to keep consolidating. I think when all this Georgia runoff is done and the election is done and finalized, I feel like then we'll start seeing some pretty good movement either up or down. If you look on that 1 year, it looks pretty toppy, consolidating at all-time highs. Yeah, I would agree. But you know what I wanted to do. I do. I know what you want. UVXY. There's someone watching this right now that wants UVXY to go up. So it looks like it's kind of faded today, but still really overall pretty much consolidating. This is the inverse of the markets. So from a technical standpoint on UVXY, it doesn't look too bad because we had this pop up here and then it consolidated basically in the same area that this consolidated. It did pull back down, but it's still around this area of support that we have here. So it's kind of just waiting to see what the markets do too. It could go either way. It could go down, but I would say from a technical analysis standpoint, at this point, it's kind of around consolidation and possible support, just kind of waiting to see how all of that news turns out. So the answer is you're just going to have to wait and see, buddy. Yeah. The chat and video is always like that. It's super annoying because of the lag. I have it set on what should be the lowest amount of latency, the ultra low latency or the least amount of lag, but there's still a bunch of lag. So I see what you guys are saying and it's I'm talking about something else. It's back and forth. That's just the way it is. I don't know how to make it better because that's the best setting that YouTube has. So I don't know. Don't know how to make it any better. What else do we have? Hot stocks of the day. PECK, I think. Yeah, that was one. This thing, absolutely crazy. It was $6 yesterday. Rips all the way up here to a high of, what's the high? 1448, so almost 1450. So that's pretty crazy. Even after pulling back all the way down here, we're still up 62% on the day. Traded about 32 million shares. As far as setups go, I wouldn't say there's a very good setup in here, other than you could make a case that this was somewhat of a bull pennant, but then it failed. So more of a short at that point, I would say, and even at this point, unless there's some crazy news that comes out, or I didn't even look and see what the news was. Sun Energy award-winning solar-powered vehicles. Shares double on iSun Energy by PEC. So all stock transition. So iSun Energy is buying PEC, so it's a buyout deal. That would be why it's up. I don't know what the price was. I'd have to dig deeper into it. But from a technical standpoint, there wasn't a whole lot of setups really. It got rejected by VWAP. I made a video last night about VWAP and what it is and how you can use it, etc. So if you're brand new to trading and you're watching this, check out that video. It might help you. But as you can see, VWAP acts as resistance right here. So it would have been a good spot to short, as it did not cross that and hold above VWAP. That'd be a good spot to short. However, I probably would have been stopped out as it popped back through VWAP right here on this candle. Most likely would have stopped me out. Otherwise, would have been a pretty good fade because it's around 10 bucks, and up there would have been 11.80-ish. So doesn't look like much of a move here, but at the same time, you know, it's almost $2 a share. So pretty big mover, just not a lot of long setups on this. Nothing really that I see that would have been a great setup to buy the stock. That's what I like to show you guys in these runner recaps. I like to go over spots that would be good setups. I feel like that helps you the most if you're a new trader, is to look at stocks and try to see where the possible best setups are. So not a lot of good setups on that stock. What else was moving? Looked like this consolidated. Yep. You were spot on. It also depends on when I look over at the chat, because I'll get to talking on this other screen, which is where my camera is, and then I got to look over and see where we're at on the chat and try to get caught up with what people are saying. So let's look at the intraday screener here. Looks like BBI was another one that was up. Let's look at BBI. Okay, so that's a pretty nice stock. That one's up pretty good. Again, not a great setup anywhere that I'm seeing. You could have played the VWAP bounce, but I would have been probably buying it here, and then it ended up coming right back down. So probably would have not been much of a gain. This is one of those stocks that's lower priced, and I talk about it, you know, a lot of times in these videos. But the lower price stocks are just more difficult to trade because the patterns don't play out as cleanly. So you see, like this to me looks a lot more choppy than, say, I don't know, if you're looking at any stock that's got a ton of volume and it's a higher priced stock. That's not a good example either. I don't know. I was trying to find a good example, but I don't know. Just the appearance of it, you know, it feels like it's got some tighter movement, and you can just kind of see the patterns setting up a little bit better. But that's just my thoughts on it anyway. MGI was another one moving here late in the day. Let's see what the news was. 142% year-over-year cross-border transaction gross for MoneyGram online. So yeah, so MoneyGram announced 142% year-over-year growth. That's crazy. So it's no wonder that made a pretty good move. From 550 or so to a high up in the 640 area. So almost $1 a share gain. Pretty good move. This textbook pennant right there. So this would be a great setup, a good opportunity to show you the setup that I love so much. You can't really make this move. You'd have a hard time getting in on this move here because it's just out of the blue like a rocket shot up. But you can look at this pennant forming here, pennant flag, whatever you want to call it. But basically you get a large move up, and then you get consolidation tighter and tighter, and then as it breaks up, you go long. If it breaks down, you go short. So it's pretty simple, and it's something you can see on all different time frames over and over and over again. It's what I would say is the best setup that new traders should be looking for, because it gives you an opportunity to have a, you're not having to make a real super quick decision. You can watch it consolidate here back and forth, and then draw your trend lines, and then as it gets tighter and tighter, you can see where it starts to break out, and then you know that's where you go long, and then you're just going to set your stop back below that. So if it breaks out and breaks your trend line, then you go long. And if it looks like it's going to break back down below that trend line, you just stop out. So pretty simple pattern, and it's something that you can see on all different time frames over and over in the stock market every single day. So in my opinion, probably the best pattern that new traders should watch for. Let's see, what else did we have here? I started to look at BBI and I got sidetracked, I think. Yeah, so this would be a good one to follow, like the overall upward trend. So you could just draw your upward trend line and then be buying every time it dips back. If you see this move here, if you happen to be watching it here, and it breaks out, makes a nice move up, pulls back, so then you're buying when it gets close to that trend line. And then if it breaks that and starts coming down, then you just sell. Put your stop loss below there. Buy it and it goes up, and then it starts to pull back. And then again, you could be buying this first green candle here and putting your stop below that trend line. So if it breaks, the trend starts breaking down, then you get out of it. People tend to make trading a lot harder than it is. It is incredibly hard. So, I don't want to say that it's not. It's obviously incredibly hard, or I'd be a millionaire by now because I've been doing it for several years. But you don't have to make it super complicated with 15 different indicators on your screen and all this different stuff. It can be as simple as drawing an upward trend and buying when it gets close to that line and then stopping out when it breaks that. You can do some simple trading like that. Let's look at let's see, NCTY. I think I looked at that one already because that was one I traded over there on the Cmeg account. Yeah, so this one would have been the best setup on this would have been probably right in here as it breaks out. Again, you could kind of say that this has that pattern. Not quite as clean. This is a 5-minute chart, so if we looked at the 1-minute chart over here, you can see it a little bit better. You got your nice pull moving up, then you got your consolidation as it gets tighter and tighter, somewhat of a flag, trading in that little range, and then boom, it breaks out. You go long, then you set your stop loss just below that. So that would have been probably the best setup right there. And you could have pretty easily, let's say you bought the first candle after that, which would be somewhere around 770, and then really no pullback until you get up here well above 8, like say 840 or so would have been your first spot where it got choppy and you might get nervous and get out. So pretty easily could have made 70-80 cents a share on that move right there. All you got to do is see this pattern developing. Then you got, this would have been a short based on this over here on the daily. I don't know if you guys can see my daily chart's a little bit smaller over here, but let me switch out here, put to guidelines. So you can see over here that the tops of these would be possibility for where you'd be looking to go short. If you got a stock that's up that much on the day, then you're trying to look at past days to see where might this stock find resistance at, where might I go short at. So if you're somebody that's a little short bias, or you like shorting, or you're trying to learn how to short, you'd be looking at previous days that could be where the stock would top out. So the tops of these candles, which would be the open of this red candle, the close of this green candle, would be one spot. So around 930 or 920s. Let's see, let me switch over to my crosshairs here. Somewhere around 926, 930 area would be one spot. And then if it breaks through that, let's say you went short there and then you stopped out quick because you got to set your short stop loss tight if you're trying to short the high of day, especially in the morning. Set it tight so you don't end up with a giant bag because it could keep going to the moon, as we all know. Then your next spot would be this one here. So say you're watching it as it approaches $10 and gets close to the high of this candle, which happened to be 10.20. So you're watching 10.20 and then shorting at that point, and sure enough, that would have been a great spot. So you start watching it as it approaches there. It gets up here to 10.11, 10.12. So you're right just below that area. That's where you're looking to short, is that $10. Plus you got the whole dollar amount, of $10. So anytime a stock would be approaching $10, especially if it's coming from down in the $5 range, so you're going to be up 100%. You're going to be approaching the whole dollar mark of $10. So a lot of times you can bet that that might be a spot to be looking to go short. Or if you're long from down in this area and you're looking for a spot to get out and take profit, again, that's an area you should be watching. You should be watching the whole dollar amounts, the 50-cent marks, and of course the previous resistance. Switch over here. Nomad trading. Where's my nomad trading guy? There's a guy that is named Nomad Trading. A guy or girl, I don't know. And a lot of times he's in the chat. Sometimes it confuses me because I think I'm talking and it's him or her talking. Anyway, so what else we got? Let's see. NCT, well, we talked about that. And as far as long setups go, again, like this would have been a good spot here. But other than that, you would have been possibly buying the break of VWAP right here. But that would have been somewhat choppy. So if you'd bought it and then set your stop loss just below VWAP, you probably would have ended up being stopped out by that candle. Market makers love to do that. You know, I don't know if they do that by design or not, but it sure seems that way, where you'll see obvious areas that people are going long, and then you'll see like one candle where the wick dips below like just enough to take out some stops, and then it'll bounce right back up. So you could have bought the break of VWAP there, and if you set your stop loss down here below the consolidation, then you would have ended up making a nice, let's see, 850, 860 to just above 9. Could have pretty easily made 50 cents a share. Anytime that I can make 50 cents a share on a stock, I call that a win. I mean, that's a pretty good profit. 50 cents a share is a pretty good profit. Let's see what else we got. Go over here to the hot stocks. ENSV only traded 8 million shares, but it is on the screener. So let's see what it looks like. I have not looked at it today. So yeah, okay. We got another one that is just kind of stair-stepping up. Again, you can kind of see that pattern that we talked about. If you wanted to draw your pennant, you would see that, and then you would say, and this one's a little bit bigger. Didn't really come all the way, didn't consolidate all the way out to the point this time, but still, you could draw your trend line, and then as it breaks that upper trend line, you could go long right there at 232 or so, and then pretty easily get 15 cents a share, maybe 20 cents a share if you topped it. Then you get another pullback, and then boom, it rips up again. So kind of stair stepping up. Let's remove all those. Kind of got the trend line, but again, it kind of broke down below that. So at this point, for me anyway, I'd be thinking more short than I would be thinking long on this particular stock, because it doesn't really hold its gains. It comes up, then it gives almost all of it back, and then it came up, and then it gave most of it back again. And this would be the third time, and as I've talked about many times, well, technically, I guess it'd be the fourth time, because you got one move here, two moves, three moves, and this would be the fourth move. And the more times a stock does the same thing over and over and over again, the less likely it is to repeat. So once you see it like 3 times, a lot of times you can start being a little more short bias. I would not be buying up here because, we've already had several moves doing the same thing. So the more it repeats, the more likely it is to fail the next time. So I would be thinking more to the short side at this point. That doesn't mean it can't keep going, because it definitely can. But that's just what I would be thinking. If we look at the daily chart down here, we got several days where it pops up and it comes all the way back down in the next day or two. Pops up, comes back down. Pops up, comes back down. So it's one of those stocks that loves to jump up and then fade right back down. It's another reason I'd be thinking short more than I would be long. And I don't see news readily available here on E-Trade. So it's my thoughts on that. What else do we got here? 5 likes. Thank you guys so much for the 5 likes. That's awesome. MGI was one. I know I wanted to look at that. I think I already did, but I can't remember if I finished my thoughts on that or not. The MoneyGram one. Yeah, so this is one that we did talk about it already. As you can see, it did have my beautiful little bull pennant that I love so much. But it's kind of turning the corner. But I think it does have the potential to be a multi-day runner. So that's why I wanted to touch on it again, is just because we have a nice green day, as you can see down here on the daily chart. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this turns into a multi-day runner and runs up here to $7 or so, just because the news is pretty good. So it's kind of been curling, starting to curl, I guess you could say, on the daily chart. Not really, but it did find some support there, and a little, found a decent bottom right here. So at this point, with the news that it's up 142% year over year transaction growth, to me that's a pretty solid headline. It's a pretty solid news alert. So I would be watching this into tomorrow. It's one that I'm going to be watching into tomorrow anyway. It's only traded about 9.6 million shares, and possibly there's not that many eyes on it just yet, but maybe going into tomorrow it's going to get more eyes on it. So if I was going to guess which one could be a runner tomorrow, MGI is the one that I'd be kind of watching. I'm not saying you should buy it up here and chase it. Maybe that would work out. We'll see. But it's one I'm going to be watching into tomorrow pre-market, and maybe get a pullback and see if it can run tomorrow. I would not be surprised. Maybe get a little volume in there and see if that thing runs with that news. What else did we have? ATOM was another one that was up today. I don't think I looked at it at all today, and apparently I can't type. Let's see. ATOM, okay. A little bit higher price stock. It's up in the 20s, but look at the daily chart. We have the daily chart down here. It's just basically been on this pretty good tear all the way from 882, somewhere in the 850 to $9 range is where it started. And then now here we have it really opening up today. Was there new news? Let's see. Shares jumped 50% on development deal with semiconductor provider Atom. So yeah, it has news of a development deal with a semiconductor company. So that's pretty good news. I don't know how solid that is or how fluffy it is. We'll just have to see. But that's pretty good news and pretty big move today, finally opening up. Let's see. I wanted to jump out farther. So yeah, and it's up with nothing but clear blue sky up above it. So this is another one that be watching into tomorrow. It's kind of looking like it might be ready to fade back down a bit or consolidate, but definitely one to watch because it's up so much, and because the news is pretty decent, and we're in a full breakout with nothing but blue sky up above it. So we'll see what happens. Right now it's kind of hanging around VWAP. As far as setups and different opportunities to go long, it actually formed more of a bull flag on the. Now this one would be more of a bull flag. You can see how we had the flag pull, but in this case it didn't really consolidate to a point. it was more of a flag. This is what we would say is more of a bull flag. Not quite the same, but pretty much the same. You get the same principles. So as it breaks that top trend line there, boom, you could have gone long. That would have put you in about 22.20 or so, and then it ended up going all the way to 24.50-ish. So definitely had some opportunity for some gain, and at no point would it have stopped you out if you just put your stop at break even. So another one that had some decent potential on it. Again, like I talked about, 1, 2, 3, and then I guess you could call this the fourth move here, and then that's when it kind of changes. So like I said, the more often that you see the moves, the more times that you see the moves, the more likely it is that that's going to fail as time goes on. So we've seen the first move, second move, third move, and this is almost the same part of the same move, but you could call that move number 4, and then that's when we fail and break down. So I would be drawing, if this was, me and I was looking at this, I would be drawing some type of trend line there and seeing that it's breaking down and going short at that point. Other than that, no real opportunities, no real setups. The best setup would have been that bull flag. What else do we got? Let's see. We already talked about PEC, MGI, Atom, BBBY, GBTC. Let's look at BBBY. Bed Bath & Beyond. Oh, yes. A nice blue chip stock. This one is what jumps out to me. Okay, first of all, we got another, basically another, why do you not draw my trend lines? This would be another bull flag. Not so much a bull pennant, but a bull flag. You can recognize that and then go long there. That would have put you in a little bit under 19, somewhere around 1890 or so. And then nothing but climbing all day. But the thing about it is not real volatile. You're only talking about $1 a share move on this entire day. So not real excited about that. It's popping up on the scanners, and it has a decent amount of volume, etc. But not really very volatile. Not something that I would really love because I like to scalp. It is interesting on the daily chart. If we come down here on the daily chart, I'll just make this a little bit bigger. It's kind of interesting because we kind of have somewhat of that pennant pattern forming on the daily chart. So we could say that it's consolidating there and then popping up today. So this could be one that if I were a swing trader, I'm not very good at swing trading, so I'll just tell you that right now, but if I were, I would say that this might have the potential to be a decent swing. Maybe now that it's kind of breaking out beyond that trend line, perhaps you could see a bigger move in the coming days. Maybe that gets up to 22 or 24 in the coming days. So that'd be one to be looking at if you're somebody that likes to swing trade. Make that smaller again, get that back down in here. Okay, other than that, anybody see anything else? Let me check over here in the chat. Anybody see anything else they want to talk about before we jump off of here? Or any questions or anything regarding technical analysis or stuff like that. Any questions? Anything you guys? Maybe you guys can teach me something. I'm not saying that I know everything because I sure as heck don't. But we can definitely discuss some things. I talked about VWAP in my video that I made last night. I thought that it was going to be helpful. So if you're a new trader, definitely check that out. If you're wondering about VWAP or VWAP, whatever you want to call it, and how that can affect a stock, check that video out. I'm probably going to try to make another video tonight. I haven't decided what it will be on. Maybe might make my my video about how much I made with YouTube in 2020. I haven't made that video, so that might be my video of the night. Anyway, only a few of you in here. Let's see. Dropped a stinker that wouldn't go down. Had to plunge that beast. Stunk horrible. Well, hey, that's helpful. So that's pretty cool. So in the chat here, I don't know how I missed that. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Mr. Unflushed. I'm not going to say the word because then I can't monetize this, but Unflushed Poo would like everyone to know that he dropped a stinker that wouldn't go down, and he had to plunge that beast, and it stunk horrible. That's really interesting. It does relate to stocks, I guess, because there are stocks that do plunge. There are stocks that stink horribly, and that, sometimes there's stocks that won't go down, and they just hang around, and I might short it, and it might just hang around forever. So I could see where you're coming from and how that relates to stock trading, Mr. Unflushed Poo. Thanks for sharing that. And, I understand because I had plumbing issues for the last several weeks. So thanks a lot for that. Good information, and I appreciate you adding to the chat with that. Make sure you go comment on all my other videos, Mr. Unflushed Poo. It helps the YouTube algorithm. So go comment about your toilet troubles on all my videos. I appreciate that. Leave a like while you're at it. So then we got Earn with Hearn. Okay, Nomad, how do you trade low floats with large spreads? I'm afraid to lose quick on those. I need tight spreads to feel comfy. I do understand that. The answer would be sizing down. I don't trade stocks with large spreads, so I guess if you give me an example, we can look at it if you're still in there. I'm sorry I missed that in the chat earlier, but if you're still in here, Earn with Hearn. What's an example of a stock you're talking about? Because I don't trade stocks with large spreads. If you got a large spread, it's typically because there's not very much liquidity in that stock. So you'll see that after hours when the liquidity and the volume is dropped, and you'll see it with super small penny stocks or stocks that are thinly traded. And the answer to that is I don't trade those stocks. If a stock is really thinly traded and it's trading less than 1 million shares on the day, I don't trade those. So I wouldn't be shorting it if it has a large spread. And shorting low floats in general, if they're low float stocks, especially ones that are moving and they have a lot of volume on the day, then you definitely want to do it with smaller size. Make sure that you're timing your entry to where you're doing it just at an area of resistance, so that way you can set your stop somewhat close. Definitely don't be shorting a low float stock, with a ton of range, because it can eat you up real quick. So anyway, definitely just don't short stocks that have a big spread. If you got a big spread, it's probably because it's thinly traded. Like I said, doesn't have liquidity. So just stay away from it, because you're right. There's a reason why you don't feel comfortable doing that. And if you feel like you're really sure that it's going to go down and you want to short it, just do it with very small size. So that way, if it moves considerably, if you get a big move, you're not losing a ton of money. Anytime, my advice to anybody, including myself, anytime you're not feeling comfortable in a position, it's because you're trading too big. And that's something that I've learned, the hard way many times. And I'll get out of a position. If I take a position, which I've done, I just did it today, whatever stock that I was talking about earlier, where I bought it looking for the breakout, and I ended up selling it right after that. That's because of that very feeling. I was feeling uneasy about it, and that's because I felt like I got in with too big a share size I can't remember what the stock was, but if I get into a stock and I'm all of a sudden feeling nervous about it, or feeling scared, I just get out of the position. It's not worth it. If you're feeling that way, then it's probably because you're trading too big. Almost always it's because you're trading too big. So just get out of the position and back your position size down. Start trading smaller, and then you can feel more comfortable. Okay. Can you short all the stocks in Cmeg? Nafissa asked. And yes. Basically. I can't say that you can short every stock, but I think, honestly, maybe maybe one or two times, if that, has Cmeg not had the shares to borrow. That's one of the best things about Cmeg. And it's why I've started shorting a lot more, is because of that. If I were just trading with E-Trade, I would not be shorting hardly ever, because E-Trade just doesn't have shares to short. They do of big blue chips like BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm sure that I can probably find shares to short with a blue chip company. But any of these low float stocks, these momentum stocks that are the ones that we basically trade every day, the momentum stocks that are hot, that are hitting the scanners all the time, that we're trading every day, like whatever, NCTY is probably one of them. I don't know what the float is off the top of my head, but any stock like that, E-Trade would not have shares to short. So I've only really recently started learning to short and doing it, and that's because of Cmeg. I've only had the Cmeg account for, I don't know, 6 months or 8 months. I don't know, a year. I can't remember exactly when I opened it, but not very long compared to like my E-Trade account. So yeah, Cmeg is awesome for shorting. I don't know if you're still in here, Nafissa, but that's the answer is yes. Cmeg is awesome for shorting, and I do criticize Cmeg because of their commissions, and they do eat you alive with commissions. That's just the truth. I get hate on my video that I made about Cmeg's commissions and fees and all that, and my broker review of them. I would say that most of my negative comments and negative emails have come from that one video about Cmeg's fees and commissions. For whatever reason, people are really like defensive of their brokers, so people defend Cmeg. But I'm not talking bad about Cmeg. I'm just telling it like it is. I like Cmeg. I use Cmeg. There's a lot of benefits to it. They have great executions, really super fast. Their charting is decent. I prefer E-Trades, but that's just my preference. They do have good charting. And they have shares to short. They have borrows of almost every stock. So there's some amazing things about Cmeg. I just don't like the fact that their commissions are so high, because if you just day trade a few times a day, you're going to be spending, even with the promo code, like today. Let me look over here and see what it was. So today I paid $39 in commissions, $39.50 in commissions today in my Cmeg account. And I didn't trade that many times. I mean, for being a day trader and a scalper, I really don't trade that much. Probably like, well, I don't know. I don't know what the math would work out to, but the promo code is going to add back into that after the fact. That's paying full price, and then they add the promo code in after the fact. So it won't end up being $39 in commissions, but still, it'll be, whatever, $25 or something in commissions. It'll still be quite a bit compared to if I were to trade the same thing with E-Trade, 0 commissions. And then the ECN fees at Cmeg, again, are also considerably high. My ECN fees, I think the other day, I don't look at my P&L and stuff every day, but when I looked the other day, in one day it was like $15 in ECN fees and like $30 some in commissions. So you're talking about $45 just thrown away in commissions and ECN fees, whereas E-Trade, that would have been like $1 or something. Maybe nothing, but high side, it would have been $1 or $2. I think they do have a lot of shorts. I love them for shorts, Mr. Wolf. They're definitely the best under PDT because they're the only game in town under PDT. The only other thing you have, as far as like brokers, like ways to get around PDT, you can have $25,000 in your margin account and then use any broker. Or you can have multiple little accounts at different brokers. Like you can have one in your name and one in your wife's name at, say, E-Trade or somewhere, and you can get around it that way. You can have multiple different brokers, small accounts at different brokers, and you can get more trades that way. But as far as getting around PDT completely, Cmeg is basically the only game in town. The only other ones that I've seen are like peer-to-peer brokers, like US stock something rather. There's one called US stock something, and that's a peer-to-peer broker. It's not, you're trading peer-to-peer. It's not a direct access real broker. So when it comes to getting around PDT, Cmeg charges a lot in fees because they're the only game in town. There was SureTrader, but that's gone. So, oh really? They're gonna have options in 20. That's awesome. I don't know how to do options. I mean, I know how to trade options, but I'm not good at trading options, and I've never really studied it. So I need to add that to my game as well, because so many people tell me, I probably hear it, several times a week, that options are better than just trading stocks. I should get into options. So I need to definitely do that, but it's really hard to find the time between. I'm still learning how to master day trading stocks and shorting and get to where I really feel comfortable taking big positions with stocks. And then on top of that, I do YouTube, and then have my kiddos and do schooling for them, homeschooling for them. There's just so much going on that it's hard to tackle an entire different style of trading and start doing options. But I would like to do that. I'd like to get good at that. Anyway, the Wolf, if you're still there, just so you know, I don't know if you have a CMEG account or not, but they do have shares to short of almost every stock. Like I said, I've almost never seen a stock, even the lowest float stocks that there are that most people don't have. CMEG, for me anyway, has always had them. That's part of why I love them. What's annoying? Anyway. So, that's what I heard. That's exciting. SureTrader, if SureTrader comes back, you're right. That'd be awesome. Yeah, a bunch of different accounts is very annoying. I wasn't sure what you were talking about because the YouTube delays things, so I can't ever tell. You guys in the chat and then me are on different pages because I'm talking about something and YouTube delays it for some reason. So then it's hard to keep up with what people are talking about. But definitely having different accounts is annoying. Just having my couple accounts is annoying. I think I'm gonna add some more just for YouTube purposes and making videos about some different brokers and whatnot. But you're right. It is annoying, and that's not a good option. Cmeg is probably the best option. If you're trying to trade without the PDT, yeah, I would say Cmeg is where it's at. What's up, Mr. James Doherty? So, as Nafissa said, I'm very excited about the fact that people have been saying that SureTrader's coming back. I need to research that. Has anybody looked into that? Because that would be great if SureTrader came back. SureTrader used to be the go-to offshore broker before Cmeg. And if they came back, it would be healthy competition between them and Cmeg, and I would guess that would make the fees go down, and maybe the platform fees and all that. It would be pretty awesome. I'm trying to Google it now. Is SureTrader coming back? They've been out of business for about a year. I'm not seeing it. I don't know. I'll have to look into that at some point, but yeah. I've been approved for CMG, but the fees are holding me back. Yeah, they do that. A lot of the time you can't short, really. What does it say? I can't locate the shares. I'm with the wolf. The only stock I can short are the big names. Really? That is weird. I wonder if it has to do with what route you use. I just use smart routing. Do you use smart routing? They switched to F1 Trade, but F1 Trade quit taking U.S. citizens. I was using them. Huh. Interesting. As far as the fees go on Cmeg, James, yeah, I feel you. I was talking, I don't know if you were in here, but like today I spent $39.50 in commissions, and then there'll be ECN fees on top of that. So then the promo code that I use will get added back, but still between the ECN fees and the commissions, it's probably going to be somewhere around that $30 to $40 in commissions on just a few trades. I mean, it's not like I scalp in and out 20 times a day or anything. So it really is amazing how much it can add up. And then for my bank, which is probably different than you guys' bank, I bank with Commerce Bank, which is a pretty big bank here in the Midwest, but they charged me $90 to wire money to CMEG, which is insane. And that's a problem with my bank, I'm sure. I'm sure not all banks are that much. There's probably other banks that charge less, but it's probably still expensive because you are transferring money offshore. So that's another thing people don't realize, for me anyway. It's $90 to wire money into my CMEG account. Then you got all the commissions and fees, which add up quite a bit between the ECN fees and the commissions. Then you have a $125 platform fee every month, which is a lot. Like, for instance, and when you just compare it to the big brokers, and this is what I was saying in my video that I made about Cmeg commissions, that everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, send me bad messages because of it, and they get defensive of CMEG. But all I was really trying to say is that if you're a trader that's not making very much money and you're kind of brand new to trading, then that just compounds your losses, because you're spending so much money in fees and you're losing trades, and it's just not it's going to be very difficult to overcome that as a new trader. And if you compare it to like E-Trade, for instance, when I wire money to E-Trade, I want to say it's like $15 or $20 or something, compared to 90 going to CMEG. And my commissions at E-Trade are zero, and ECN fees are either zero or almost zero. So that compared to today, 40 to $50 or whatever it is before the promo code at CMEG for the same trades. And then the platform fee on eTrade Pro is like $100 or something like that. But if you make so many trades a month, I think it's 30 a quarter or 40 a quarter or something like that. But it amounts to very few. If you're under the PDT and just traded 3 times a week, you would still qualify for eTrade Pro to be free versus CMEG, which is $125. So there's just so many things that CMEG costs a lot of money compared to the American brokers and whatnot. But I get it, they understand that they're the only game in town when it comes to getting around PDT. For big reputable brokers, that's your only choice, so they can kind of charge whatever they want. Yeah, it does. It has to do with the clearing firm too. Yeah, you're right. Arca always. Yeah, that could be part of it. I don't know. I use Arca sometimes. I use it on E-Trade sometimes, but with CMEG, I've always just left it as Smart. I don't know why. And I may actually be paying higher commissions and fees for Smart. I'm not really sure. I'd have to research that, because I never really put much thought into it or researched the different routes, and if it costs me more money to use that Smart routing or less or what. But promo codes, you can just on YouTube or Google. Hold on a sec, and I'll get you one. Hold on 1 second. I will get you a promo code. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. I'm doing it over here. Okay.
Want to learn 3 options?
No. I don't want that. Here we go. So, there you go. There you go. There's your promo code. And it's not mine either. They wouldn't give me one. I tried to become an affiliate with CMEG, and they told me that they're not taking on any new affiliates right now. So, depressing. It's another guy named Tim. It is coincidentally, that guy is the same name as me. We're both Tim, but I don't know if he gets paid a commission or whatever for that or not, but I've given that promo out to several people. So you're welcome, Tim V, wherever you are. Just started trying in March. I traded account starts, but switched to options. Mainly stick to SQQQ and trade exclusively at ETF options. Sadly, I got destroyed yesterday. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure a lot of people did. It's cool that you do options though. Does it work if I'm already a broker with them? You mean if you're already using them? No, that's not what I want. Sorry. So yeah, I'm trying to find, I don't know what it is. Oh, there it is. Hello. So yeah. Okay. Yep. That should be. Yeah, there you go. Good luck to you too, James. So there you go, Nafissa. Email that promo code. There you go. So yeah, you can be a customer. Sorry, I was typing all that in there. So you can already be a customer there. That doesn't matter. Go ahead and send that promo code to that email address I just typed in there for you. And just tell them that you want them to apply that promo code to your account, and they will do so. So it doesn't matter if you're already have an account there or not. They'll take care of you. From then on, you will get that promo code. It shaves $1 in commissions off of each side of every trade. So yeah, if you traded, like, let's say you took 3 trades during the day, in and out, in and out, in and out. So 3 trades, that would save you $6. So yeah, pretty cool. Over the course of like a month, if you traded 3 times a day and did that every day for a month, let's see, what would that be? It'd be 20 days, 3 trades, 60, and then 2 per. So yeah, you'd save like $120 in commissions just from using that promo code if you traded 3 times a day all month. It adds up pretty good. It also, there's something to do with cheaper stocks, or when you take over 1,000 share positions or something, uh, the promo code changes. There's more to it than that, but anyway, yeah, that'll save you some money. So anyway, anybody else who wants to save some money with CMEG, just use that promo code. Unfortunately, it's not my promo code. It's some other lucky guy named Tim. I emailed them and said, hey, I've got almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and really like to help my subscribers out. So can I get a promo code and then maybe get an affiliate commission? Because I do talk about CMEG a lot. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool if I could get a promo code. But they said no, they're not taking on any new affiliates right now. So I'm not sure how Tim V, whoever that is, got to be an affiliate, but they wouldn't let me do it. I'm jealous. Hey, it's Nomad Trading. What's up? I was talking about you earlier. What's up, Nomad Traders? Love the name, dig the name. PPSI, huge move. Let's check it out. I'm going to get off of here in a second anyway. But let's check it out. Yeah, there you go. Nice spot, Mr. Nomad. I like it. If we look, let's look at the daily. So why is it moving? Let's see. Is there new news on it? Secures 3.5 million order. No, that was older news, so no new news that I'm seeing. But let's see here. This is the daily chart. So we're kind of coming up on, let's see, we passed that resistance. We're 514 maybe. 527. See, again, it's no coincidence whenever people say, oh, you can't make money trading stocks, that's just gambling. Well, that's actually not true. And it's, you can look at stocks and see the different levels, and how that's, there's some patterns and probabilities and things that allow you to make money trading stocks. It just takes time to learn all those things. But if we look where this stock that you just talked about capped out, we put a little line on top of it. It's no coincidence that it's basically where this stock closed at, where this day closed at. This day closed at. So it's no shock. So if it can break that, then we'd be looking at this next level up here, and then we'd be looking up here, and then blue sky ahead up here. So there's lots of different levels. So I would be watching that. It's kind of coming down now, unfortunately. But if there is some kind of news, then we might end up seeing it perk up tomorrow. And if we do, then we'll know what levels to watch. So anyway, kind of curling up nicely here. Maybe that'll be the big one tomorrow. Nomad, most low float stocks have large bid-ask spreads. If they move quick downward, can't you lose a lot quickly? I prefer tight spreads. So, yeah, but it just depends on what you're talking about. Most of the ones, like the ones that I trade, don't have huge spreads. Let's take one, for example. I guess it depends on when you're trading them. If you're trading them when they're moving, on the days that they're up, like today, I'm going to see if I can find an example. NCTY, for instance. Yeah, so NCTY, that would be one that moved today, and it didn't have a big spread. Typically, if they have a big spread, it would be because they are thinly traded. This one has a bigger spread right now because it's after hours, but this is one that ran today. NCTY ran today. Let's move in a little bit. So we were talking about this stock earlier today, traded 26 million shares. So right now it has a big spread because it's after hours. But whenever we were trading this earlier today, or whenever I was trading it earlier today, the spread was only like 2 or 3 cents. So it depends on when you're trading it. If they move quick downward, can't you lose a lot of money quickly? I'm trying to answer your question. So the answer is yes. If you're trading something that's thinly traded that would have a large spread, then definitely you could lose a lot of money quickly. But I don't trade stocks that are thinly traded. So it depends on what type of trader you are and what you're trying to do. For me, I'm a scalper, and that's, I'm not very good at swing trading or long-term investing. I'm better at scalping, which is getting in and out pretty quickly. So one of the necessities of being a scalper is being able to have enough liquidity to get in and out with tight spreads. So I'm trading stocks that are like, the momentum plays of the day. The 10 stocks or 15 stocks roughly that are moving every day that all day traders are looking at are the ones that I'm trading. And they're the ones that have enough volume that you're not going to have a big spread on them. If you did have one that was, if it did have a big spread, most likely it's thinly traded, and then I would not be looking to trade it because I couldn't get in and out without the big spread. So definitely the answer is to stay away from stocks that have a big spread if you're trying to day trade them, especially. If you're trying to swing trade them, then it wouldn't matter as much because you're going to be holding for several days. But if you're trying to day trade, you definitely don't want stocks with big spreads. And I don't trade when they have a big spread. Like for instance, right now, this would be a good example. It's only got a big spread because it's after hours. So you're seeing this 20-cent spread because it's after hours. And because of that, I'm not going to trade it. So yeah, definitely don't trade if you're day trading. Don't trade stocks with big spreads. There's tons of low float stocks that if they are the momentum plays of the day, if they're the stocks that are moving that day traders are actually watching and trading, then it doesn't matter that they're low float because they have enough volume that they're not going to have big spreads. But definitely if you see, this situation here, like if I saw this during normal trading hours or now, I'm not going to trade it because of the spread. Because you'd have to buy in at 860, and then if you had to get out, yeah, you're looking at taking a 25-cent loss just to get out of the stock. So no, you definitely don't want to be doing that. Stay away from that. When to watch in the AM delayed spike, I'm thinking I agree. That's not true at all. It takes time and skill to become a good trader. Yeah, at the preamp volume, never can trust. True. What's not true at all? It definitely takes time and skill to become a good trader. That's for sure. Lots of time. Lots of time. For me, anyway. Some people can get it, and I've known traders that in less than a year had mastered trading. Not really mastered it, but mastered their patterns and were making a lot of money. But for me, not so much. I wish I was one of those people, and unfortunately, I am not one of those people. It takes me a while. I consider myself to be, fairly smart also. I mean, I did well. I had straight A's in school and all that stuff. Was pretty good at playing online poker for a while. And yeah, I thought that I would get the hang of stocks a lot quicker than I did. I really feel like I'm just now getting the hang of trading. And it's been years now. I would say probably like 5 years, I think, now that I've been trading. So, anyway, yeah. never can trust the after hours and pre-market volume. You're very right. Okay, I trade AXL on the dip on the days when GM is up. It follows GM 70% of the time, according to my backtest data. Been doing it for 2 weeks so far. No losers yet. That's awesome. Good job. Sounds like you found an advantage, and you're taking it to the bank. Nice work. So, anyway, unless anybody's got anything else they want to talk about, I'm going to get off of here. It's getting close to needing to be dinner time for me here in the Midwest.